Diaz.
I'm Jernel Tan.
And we're here today with Mr. Juan Batalla, the Editor-in-Chief of De La Salle, De La Salle University's official school paper. So,
Hey.
What's your take po on the recent drug incident of the ID-113 student?
The ID-113 student. Well, what happened there was, it's an incident that occurred outside the university, but what transpired was made known when campus publications took to the issue, given that national media outlets had reported on it already. So what campus publications did was to forward the issue and provide greater context, because national media identified the student based on nationality and based on the university that the student was a part of. So what happened, according to the Student Discipline Information Office, was that this student brought disrepute to the name of the university, given that the PDEA report, which cited the name of the student, contained a phrase saying that the person concerned was a student at De La Salle University. So, well, I don't know. I don't have the hard statistics to prove it. Maybe it's with the SDFO. But drugs are actually in common proliferation among students in DLSU. While it may never be declared, there are a lot of parties actually that serve as a venue for the use and the trade and peddling of illegal substances. No? In this case, the guy, well, this is just a rumor, no? But the guy's stash was found in his condominium because it was used as a kind of stockroom for an upcoming event, a major party to be sponsored by LaSallians, and people had taken orders from him. So they tracked the delivery to the condominium. It was not the guy himself who did it, no. It was tracked to his condo. So it happened outside the university. The guy was in Makati when PDEA discovered that he was in possession of these things. Because apparently he was a high value target by PDEA, since he was known for spreading the use of illegal substances in many campuses. He had clients in the high school, grade school even, no, and he was known sa Metro Manila as a dealer talaga. Like
even before college?
I think maski in high school, yes. But of course, sir, I can't verify this, but that's the story. And the issues that we identified, at least at De La Salle, our university section, we report on these issues. The issues that we identified are, one, it points to the glaring condonement of this kind of culture that we have, na okay lang mag-droga, kasi natural lang yun sa mga estudyante. In UP, it's a way of life in UP Diliman. When they have events, even when they don't have events, it's the practice, it's the norm. The drug in question was ecstasy, and ecstasy is it's very common in young and yuppie circles. So mga estudyante, mga bata, mga young office workers, usually sila yung gumagamit. And it's not surprising. It's just what made it news was the fact that it was reported by a campus publication and national media, and that it put the university on the spotlight. In particular, it put the university's administration under pressure to take action or to address the issue. Like, people suddenly ask, what is the university going to do about this? Like, will they expel the student? Which seems to be what people are clamoring for based on social media. They want the student to be expelled kasi masama daw siya para sa pangalan ng universidad. Parents are very worried. PUSO has a strong policy against it. They have voiced their concern to the brother president that the student should be expelled right away because he threatens the security of students. So there are a lot of stakeholders that reacted, but most of them are concerned about how they will be represented as LaSallians given the incident. They don't want they're being Lasallian to be besmirched by the fact that they know someone inside the university has been caught selling drugs. Diba? Tapos nalaman na widespread or tahamak siyang trafficker among campuses around Metro Manila. So malaki yung play niya. Of course, nagkaroon sa media ng ano, parang nagkaroon sa media ng ano, ng parang they lash out against the media, people online, they lash out against the media. They said na dapat hindi sinight na yung Indian national siya, dapat sinabi nila na student siya sa university, not particularly DLSU University. But yun, we can't avoid those things from happening kasi it was a rush report. It was made public, the document was made public. So there, the discussion is rich, but you see how we saw from the campus media, we saw how involved students were in sharing and discussion of the issue, and not just students, but all members of the university. So what's important is to stay updated and see where our administration takes us, because it's them that we're waiting for when it comes to taking the next step in issues like this, whether it be drugs or fighting outside the university, diba? Sila yung may stand, sila yung may position, kasi sila yung they make the policies for us. Diba? So,
with regards to the recent incident that involved drugs, another question that arises is the question of safety and security. So how do you think the students and the administration would react to other things that deal with the matter of safety and security?
Yeah. So we have certain isolated incidents, like for example this incident wherein a pipe fell at the Velasco area where students usually hang out. Now, nobody was hurt, but students could have been hurt. So there were certain safety precautions that might have been taken before the incident occurred that might have prevented it, such as the installation of iron barricades or some kind of galvanized protection that would prevent pipes or other construction material from falling. Policy-wise, what happens is that administration reacts to certain policies before thinking of how to prevent accidents. There is a lack of scenario planning. So it's pretty reactive. And in many institutions, it's reactive, not really preventive, at least in the Philippines. So it's typical. For example, if you have increased incidences of theft within the university, at saka lang naghihigpit yung mga gwardiya. So hindi siya consistent. Like it's lax and then it tightens based on how the external environment is like. So we both students and admin. As students, you have our USG representatives. For admin, you have everyone else who represents other sectors in the university. And we just react to certain safety situations. We have a task force Safe School that is composed of DLSU, CSB, and St. Sco. And they monitor the security of students around the Taft area. But then we can't blame them if we can't directly blame them if things happen and there's nobody to guard it, because you can't prevent accidents from or certain dangerous situations from happening around Taft. Knowing the demographic of of people in the area. So for example, Quirino, if you have students who go to school and pass that way early in the morning or at night, and then somebody chucks things and tries to extort the students, chucks things at their cars, that's not a direct concern of the university dahil lang estudyante siya. That will be like overstepping our literal boundaries. That's a concern of the police station. Now, the police station that guards the 3 schools around Taft, like ours, their main concern is that nobody reports incidents to them. They report it to the university security, and they think that it's the university security that should take some kind of measure to make Taft a safer place, wherein in fact that's the jurisdiction of police. So there's no effective policy making process in that sense. It leaves much to be desired. Kasi our model is that we are reactive when it comes to making security policies. Not really. We don't mitigate. We don't prevent these things from happening. We don't do anything extra. What we do is we do what we can. Diba? Yun yung institution talaga sa Pilipinas. That's all is an exception.
What is the significance of activities that is organized by the organizations of the school?
Yeah. So activities usually they're either fundraising activities or activities that are related to the course or the kind of professional organization, the nature of the organization. So if you have something like Polisci, you might have a forum, that invites senators to speak about certain current issues, or you might have a fundraising activity. Usually these fundraising activities, if they're not selling, kasi bawal ang selling sa orgs, then they become parties, usually parties. Yun yung klase ng activity na meron. Kasi the system over the past few years has made it such that parties are the easiest way to get funds. Since you have to just pay for a ticket, at the same time it's reinforced by a whole load of incentives from professors who just signed the paper.
About the incentives, what does the student get from it besides the grade?
That's it. That's really the point. The point is that you're going to get a bonus point or a bonus consideration in your grade for attendance in a certain event. And what that does is that it inspires kind of culture that trains you not to think. It trains the students not to think. It trains the professors not to think. Kasi yung professor, imbis na i-assess niya yung output ng estudyante, tinitingnan na lang kung nag-attend ba yung estudyante sa event na to. Estudyante naman, pupunta lang sa event na regardless of the course, di ba, sinuportahan ng course yung event eh. It's representative of the national way of thinking. Na parang, punta ka na dito, sumulpot ka na dito, without thinking about the deeper repercussions of the action that you're taking. So, for example, if you're going to attend a party that has nothing to do with the course in mind, but it's used as a component to assess your performance in that course, di parang walang logical connect. And I think the Dean of Student Affairs and other organizations, they saw that. So as of AY 2014-2015, parties that are fundraising activities are no longer to carry incentives. In a way, naging parang cheap crowdsourcing technique na rin siya. Kasi, di ba, kung may incentive, tapos malalaman mo na marami kang kilala na pupunta doon, di ba, parang hindi na nila kailangan mag-source ng students, di ba? Yun. So, wala nang ganong klaseng bagay sa next year. But incentives will remain for academic fora because I think the attitude or the assumption is that students won't attend these things because they're not innately interested in them. So if you think that this particular speaker, let's say, for example, economics, next year pupunta dito si John Nash. He invented game theory, diba? Like, will all economics students have that appreciation to attend this talk? Or, diba? Or is it necessary that you sort of take a hard sell approach and force a student to attend and appreciate exactly how this speaker is? Diba? So it depends actually on the learning pedagogy of the university. And what we believe is that students, they transform themselves. They have the capacity to learn on their own, by their own means, without knowledge having to be transmitted to them. So may assumption na independent enough ang student. But the incentive system speaks against that. Kasi kailangan pa yun ng incentive. So there, it's a conflicted learning technique, I think. Especially if the school wants to push for students being mature enough to learn by themselves. That kind of assumption isn't reinforced by the current system that we have. And it doesn't just extend to how incentives go, it also extends to how the system works. Why do we need parental waivers for activities that we go to? Diba? Parang hindi tayo pinagkakatiwalaan ng sapat na kaya na nating matutunan ang mga bagay na hindi matututunan ng mga taga-high school. Diba? So, parang may sinasabi yung mga tao na extension na ng high school ang Lasal. Like, the students aren't capacitated enough to take learning into their own hands. And they're not mature enough to appreciate higher education as it is. So their incentives speak on that. The disciplinary system speaks on that. The security that we have in campus speaks on that, as well as the faculty policy that we have speaks on that. Diba? Why is grade consultation institutionalized? Diba? Why isn't it something that the students can just talk about with their professor? Diba? So yun, I guess in a way it reflects exactly how our university values its learning pedagogy.
Since you mentioned, so what is your take with regards to the tuition fee increase?
To my knowledge, the tuition fee increase was decided to be at 5%, but the increase percentage is still pending with the Board of Trustees, since there were some sectors in the university that protested the 5%. No? The student sector was not part of that sector. I think it was the parent sector. I think the faculty also protested because they felt that the negotiations did not go as smoothly, and it was just rushed. But there are sectors outside the university who are concerned about tuition and fees around Metro Manila, such that they protested it right away. One such sector is the NUST. You have the CEGP. You have these medyo nationalist, democrat, leftist institutions and groups na talagang pinotesta siya kasi ayaw nila gusto nila 0% tuition fee increase sa lahat ng universidad. Even if technically, the Lasallian student market, from an economic perspective, is the demand for the education is not elastic. So, pag tumaas ng 5% yung tuition, marami pa rin mag-enroll Kasi kaya naman nakakaya na naman ng karamihan ng estudyante. But this kind of, so the attitudes that are being exerted on the student representatives in our university, at least for our sector, who are concerned about the tuition fee increase, they don't have that kind of mentality na pag tumaas ang tuition ko ng 5% per unit, di na ako makakapag-aral. May taong ganun. At marami naman mga sectors sa university nakakakilala na maraming estudyante may apprehension pa rin with tuition and fees. But it's not like CUP. So honestly speaking, the demographics are different. Student demographics are different. If you recall the case of Cristel Tejada, dahil tumaas nga yung tuition, unfortunate things happen. Sa atin, these kinds of issues deserve analysis, and I guess a stance for the students could be more clearly communicated, not just to the people who are in the tuition fee meeting, but also to the students. Kasi hindi na disseminate yung mga napag-uusapan sa mga multi-sectoral meeting, katulad ng TFI. Ano bang malalaman natin? Over the past few years, we never know where our USG treasurer and our USG president are taking us with regards to the tuition and fees. Diba? All we know is that they have a programmed stance on it, but they never say anything about it. Like, they don't say why they're justifying this kind of percentage. Diba? They just say inflation. That is a very vague description. It sort of encapsulates how our representatives think in terms of issues and addressing them with policy recommendations. So when it comes to election season, and you are expected to elect people who know the issues and who have policy recommendations for them, the policy recommendations are extremely vague and they don't pinpoint the heart of the matter. Kasi, kunwari, itong tuition fee increase, you have Santugon, you have Tapat, and they have differing stances on tuition fee increase. Worded very vaguely, worded very irresponsibly. Kasi pananagutan na naging klaro yung position nila It's representative of national elections. Do we know the positions of candidates with regards to key issues? If you say that you're, for example, this was back last year, if you say you're against the RH law, and you say you're for the RH law, we don't know exactly why these people are for that. And then we question, why these are the people who are representing us? The same context applies in the university.
So So we would like to thank you, Mr. Juan Batalla, for the interview, for your insights with regards to issues within our university.
Thanks. Thanks, Rinel. Wait, sir, disclaimer these are not the opinions of the Lasallian, opinion ko lang yun So, sir, please do not associate or don't associate with the campus media organization. Thanks, Nick. Thanks.